Singhi Breen. The Wireless Age, July 1925. Warm, lazy days on golden sands, the gentle rolling of azure seas, brilliant plumaged birds flashing in and out of vivid forests, riots of color everywhere spilling to earth, the scent of the hibiscus flower stealing through the swiftly falling tropic night. All these close in around the radio when Singhi Breen, the girl wizard of the ukulele, starts strumming into the microphone. Hawaii is with you, pouring its magic into the air from the fingertips of this girl, who is reckoned as perhaps the most skillful player of the ukulele this or any other side of Honolulu. The greatest authority on all phases of this instrument which comes to us across the Western Sea. Oddly enough, the medium which brought her to fame was never a favorite of hers, although it stood alone among musical instruments on which her disfavor was conferred. She never liked the strange, harsh music of the ukulele when it was at the height of its vogue several years ago. She didn't even want to own one, although her collection included far less popular instruments. Then one day, an admirer, looking at her banjos, guitars, mandolins, and other pieces which all but fill her little sitting room, observed the lack of the ukulele and sent her one as a Christmas gift. Miss Breen looked it over and decided that to keep anything which she disliked so much would bring bad luck. She took it to the store from which she believed it had come, a well-known department store, and asked to be allowed to exchange it for a bathrobe. This permission was denied her, however, the manager suggesting tactfully that the instrument probably didn't come from them in the first place, as it was a better one than they usually had in stock, worth the price of their best bathrobe many times over. Among her father's tenants was a music teacher who had all sorts of instruments, and who was frequently asked to select them for his clientele. Determined to get her ill-famed ukulele out of the way, Miss Breen took it to him with the idea of disposing of it to one of his pupils. But the eyes of the music master shone when he saw her instrument, and strumming it gently played an air of such melody that the girl before him, who had not realized the ukulele capable of such harmony, was impressed and decided to learn to play it instead. "I had always thought the ukulele suited only to camp ditties," she said, "or else that harsh foreign stuff that the native Hawaiians play. I saw that I was wrong, and that anything might be creditably played upon the ukulele. I took a few lessons, and in a little while it became not only my favorite instrument, but the one which I am now chiefly identified." She, however, does not tell the whole story. She took a few lessons, and in less than 3 years, she was known as the greatest ukulele player in the country, and the greatest authority on all phases of the development of its music. She began early to set down the arrangements for the popular airs which she loved to play. These she carried from publisher to publisher, asking to be allowed to arrange all their music for the ukulele. But owing to the cost of the new cut, the addition of a new line of notes did not seem advisable to any of them, although they were well aware of the superiority of her work. "The ukulele craze is dead," one of them explained to her, but she held her ground. "This will revive it," she said stoutly. "It died only because people could not get the music to play, and so few of them could stop to make their own arrangements. I promise you that if I am permitted to try this plan, your sales on the pieces I have arranged will increase to a surprising degree." She finally persuaded them, and now no fewer than 17 music publishers avail themselves of her services to make the ukulele arrangements on their entire output, giving her the exclusive rights on their productions. When she began to broadcast, letter upon letter poured into the stations to ask who this marvelous young woman was, and whether or not it was a ukulele she was playing. It sounded like something so much more pretentious. A letter from the White House brought special thanks for the enjoyment she had given the chief executive, who invariably listened in when her name appeared on any program. Native Hawaiians visiting this country, touring it very often behind their own ukuleles, freely admitted that she far outshone their own people in her playing. "Let this little American girl teach us to play our native instrument," they said, smiling. The joke was on them. Nor was the acknowledgement tinged in the least with jealousy. For these natives who so highly praised her playing showed their appreciation with gifts of every description. The many varieties of the native instrument, native costumes, and odd trinkets, which she prizes as real tribute to her skill. But just as the Hawaiians are eager to admit that her playing excels their own very often, so does she admit that anyone, if he wishes, may play as she plays. To this end, she has published books showing her methods of handling the instrument, arrangements of old and loved songs not available elsewhere, and a secret or two of technique which she has discovered, and which has affected her playing in such a vital fashion. Notwithstanding her various activities, music publishing houses by day and concert or radio work at night, she is nevertheless, to an extent not usually found in an artist, a typical home girl. She lives with her father and sister and her little 10-year-old daughter Rita, who is a ukulelist of much promise.